Daddy's Painting Party. This ain't your daddy's painting class. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mary Houlihan.
Woo! Yeah, welcome to Mary Houlihan's painting party.
Yeah, bitch. What's up? It's Mary Houlihan. We're doing this. Yeah, baby. There's something about Mary. This ain't your daddy's painting class.
Sax, wait for the sax.
Yeah, bitch. This ain't your daddy's painting class.
What's up, everybody? New setup in the house. Yep, I bought a thing. Some people call it a table. Folks, welcome to Mary Houlihan's painting party. It's the only show in the world where I paint and you paint. And today the theme is the Noid. Hi, party people. And the theme today is the Noid, of course, because I said, what should the theme be? And then I remembered, well, the guest is named Billy Nord. Hi, Billy.
Hi. You know, I got that a lot growing up. I was either a nerd or Noid. So thank you for choosing the latter.
Thank God the Noid showed up, so you weren't a nerd.
He saved me. He's a bunny, the bunny ears, right? So it was the Noid. We had no idea what was going on with the Noid, right?
No idea. I think I'm more familiar with him from content about him. Like I think he was on The Simpsons. Like, I feel like I'm more familiar with like the Alf and Pog formification of the Noid, of like stuff from the 2000s being like, remember the Noid?
Yes. And I think Domino's brought that character back, or tried to bring that character back not too long ago.
Yeah, it's a real Family Guy reference. Yeah, that'd be like the Noid.
We gotta.
That'd be like Adam West and the Noid were playing billiards.
The Noid was created by the same creator that did the California Raisins. I don't know if you remember the California Raisins.
Oh, of course.
Oh my gosh, horrifying, disturbing.
Beautiful songbirds.
Beautiful songbirds. That's what I meant when I said horrifying and disturbing. Beautiful songbirds. Well, thank you. Are you going to draw the Noid? Are you going to paint the Noid today? Is that so that the theme is everyone is going to paint their version of the Noid or their interpretation of the word?
Well, yes. So, folks at home, if you've never played before, you paint and I paint, and me and Billy chat, and you guys all chat and make hilarious quips, and then we pull up your hilarious quips and we go, ha ha ha, great clip, and then send us your art when you're done with your art. We'll probably go for like an hour, so get your art in before then.
I'm gonna do. I don't have paint, but I have a Sharpie and a notepad. So I'm gonna be honest with you. The only real things I could draw, there's two things. Bart Simpson, just one facial expression of Bart Simpson, and the second thing I could draw is many facial expressions of Sloth from Goonies. Just
oh, sure, yeah. Well, that's
emotions.
impressive. That's a hard character to draw.
It's just two eyes, really. I mean, Sloth was mainly eyes.
Okay, so first of all, what's your connection with Smith?
Oh, I saw that.
Smith.
Well, Smith is a mutual friend of ours.
Yes.
He he's watched my cat before when I went to Reykjavik, Iceland. He's a lovely man. Are we going to talk about Smith as if he's a character, like an actual person, or the person who plays Smith? Should we?
Talk about Smith first.
Okay, Smith killed my cat. Uh, I can't get over that. I like, it's unforgivable that he did that. And then he made a whole episode of his TV series about it, Truth or Myth with Smith, and blamed somebody else. He said there was a whole conspiracy about why my cat was killed while
What
he was
the
cat
hell?
Yeah, I mean, it was so weird. Look at that guy. Cat killer.
He's sick
Oh my
and
gosh.
twisted.
Could you tell me about your experience with Smith, Mary?
I don't really remember Smith that well. I'm more familiar with John Gentle and who are some of the other ones?
Brett Davis, that classic
Oh, yeah.
character.
Yes, classic character, Brett Davis.
I love that guy. He's like one of the nicest, sweetest, smartest,
He's
funniest people.
kind.
He's so lovely. Where is he? What is he doing today? Where is he? You're in Los Angeles. You guys all speak
Yeah.
together. Speak with each other.
He lives out here. I see him sometimes, and he works on the Best Show. Oh, and they're going to do Lethal Lottery.
Oh,
Remember
I
that
saw
show?
Yes. You won once or twice, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you
Oh,
remember
I
the,
remember that.
do you remember the bit that you did, the winning bit on that show?
Kind of. Well, I remember we did it twice, and one time we were dressed as the two broke girls, and we were doing a skit called Two Broke Squirrels, and it was kind of like bad on purpose type of
Oh yeah.
thing. And then I remember the other time we were wearing pasties. We were really trying to do shock factor.
Yeah.
And I want to say my parents were in one of them and we jumped over something.
Yeah. There was a lot of physical violence in those shows, but good, slapstick. Good-hearted
Yeah.
physical violence in those shows. Very shocky. I remember Steve
Yeah.
Whalen was doing a wrestling bit where he was a commentator. He was like the straight man in somebody's bit, but he was wearing like a tote bag, and
Hmm.
it was kind of abnormal because you never saw him wearing a bag like a fanny pack. And I was like, what's
Hmm.
going on with that bag? And then eventually it became a part of the bit. I think there was fake blood in the bag, and there was the
Oh,
pipe,
of course.
and
Classic.
then yeah, I think he won that particular night.
He's funny.
He's
Rest
funny.
in peace.
Rest in peace. That son of a gun.
Rest full.
I remember
Um,
when I was doing some booking stuff for Brett Davis's. Remember, of course you remember. How could we forget the special on MNN
mhm.
without Brett Davis? And I remember the first time I talked Michael Shannon into doing the show. I was like so excited. I was like, Michael Shannon. He did the show, and I couldn't be there that night. And I saw Steve Whalen a couple of days later, and I asked him. He was at the show that day because he was on every episode. I asked him,
Mhm.
"How did Michael Shannon do? How was it? Was it fun? Was it cool?" Expecting like, "Oh yeah, Michael Shannon was fantastic," and then Steve Whalen was like, "He was a little cranky."
That's
But
funny.
yeah, I love Steve because he was wildly honest all the time and
Yeah.
no bullshit ever. But he can humble you, but always so kind.
What was I gonna? Oh, right. So, as
Danny
we
was
just
there.
as we just illustrated, I know you from booking comedy things in the alt comedy scene in New York City.
That's right.
And recently, since I started doing my podcast and having like comedians who like to talk about politics, I've ended up having people say, "Hey, you should interview this politician. My friend's running for office. Do you want to interview them?" And I was just telling Forrest, I even got an email today about I'm invited to a dinner with Tom Steyer, the famous billionaire.
Wha- Wow. Who? Wow.
There's going to be like a bunch of people. It's like, a mass email. You're invited. But that's all to say, you are someone who's running for office,
I
and you're
am.
a real person that I know.
It's
You're not
true.
a politician who I've met. You are
That's
someone that
right.
I know is a real person who said, wait a second, wait a
Yes.
second,
Something's not right.
someone's gotta fix things. I'm gonna
Hold
run
on.
this. Tell me about that.
Well, I could. Yeah. Let's go back to that fateful year of 2024. That election that we all knew something was up with. We were very uncomfortable during the days leading up to that general election in 2024. I was seeing.
I
I
rolled my
remember.
house suddenly.
Yeah. I was just, I saw the sort of like cracks in the whole system and the whole Democratic Party forming during that Harris Walz campaign as, as the months moved on, as Kamala was like gravitating towards people like Mark Cuban and Dick Cheney as
Mhm.
sort of like, spokespeople for where she wants to take her
Yeah.
her you know her direction. Um, seeing Kamala during rallies, just completely chastising people who were speaking up about the uh, the genocide in Gaza, and just like
Yeah.
kind of just belittle them. Like I'm speaking, not
And
listening.
when did you move to Minnesota?
2020 during the
Uh-huh.
pandemic. Yeah,
And so you're living in Minnesota. It's a place where there's a shitload of Muslims. There's a shitload of like immigrants from the Middle East and like this voting bloc that lives in purple states.
yeah,
Like it was like watching a car crash in slow motion. Like, wow, the Democrats really aren't going to like talk to these people while their
yeah,
cousins are getting bombed to death.
yes,
How do they think
yes,
they're going to get votes from these people?
yeah, and not only
How
were they
are they
not
not
talking,
thinking?
yeah, they were
Shouldn't you
belittling.
shouldn't you be thinking I want to win these purple states in order to
Yeah,
win an election? This is just like basic stuff.
and
Anyway,
and and
continue.
like and when in history were the youth of America wrong? You know what I mean? Like when
Yeah,
there's a youth movement behind something that's obviously injustice,
it's the
they
children.
generally, yeah, history
Yeah.
has proven that the youth of America are fucking right. Can I curse on
Hmm.
this? Sorry.
Yes,
Can
of
I
course.
can I say right? Um, so yeah, I saw the cracks starting to form. I was feeling that, in my stomach. I was like, something's, this is not right.
Mhm.
This shit's not gonna, it's not gonna fly. And I remember Kamala was pitching anti-price gouging, as a part of her platform. She wanted to tackle big corporations who were price gouging, and then people like her. She had like Mark Cuban on her campaign and
Mm.
Anthony Scaramucci, and then they went
Yeah.
out and they were just like preaching to the media like, I hope she doesn't enact price gouging legislation. I hope she doesn't do this. It'll be, it's communism. And I was like, fuck,
And
this
that's who
is,
you have campaigning for you. People who are like their ideas are bad.
yes, yeah. And like the one thing that the general population, the working class, were speaking about, the main thing, if anything, was the cost of living, the economy.
Mhm.
And to go and say that, I hope that uh, Kamala doesn't help the working class so
Mhm.
openly. And then fast forward to election day, I saw the I saw the polls, like the exit polls were coming in, and the general consensus was, what are you voting for? What are you voting for? And it's the cost of living. I want to fix the cost of living. So all the returns were coming in. I was like, okay, this is not going to go the way. And and of course it didn't go the way, I mean, most of us predicted it wasn't going to go the way for the Democrats. And that happened. They lost splendidly, just horribly.
Yeah, embarrassing.
Embarrassing. Spent $1 billion. I
He's
gave
like
so
a
much.
popular guy that everyone hates.
Yeah,
And all you had to do was go to Minnesota, Michigan, and tell the people that you acknowledge that they exist, basically.
go to college campuses.
Yeah.
Speak less gloss and more like on the ground and talk to people. And then, that happened. And then there was like the blame game, like, oh, it's because we supported trans healthcare, or we went too far.
It's Vaughn's fault.
Yeah, they did podcast and we didn't.
Yeah, that's what made everyone vote. Shut up.
Right, exactly. And then, as the days moved on from that election, I think one of the last votes that the Democrats in Senate, the majority, voted for was a military spending bill that stripped trans minor health care from military families in a military budget.
That's crazy.
And like our two senators, Tina Smith and Amy Klobuchar, voted yes for this bill. And I was like, what the fuck? Why? And then shit, just like days just turned into weeks. And people, our senators, instead of like whenever Trump would do something crazy or pitch an idea like, oh, I'm going to dismantle this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to let this happen, our senators would make statements like simply pointing out the problem, pointing out what we already know, like, oh, Trump's doing some it's against the Constitution. But there's no solution in their statements. They're not saying what they're doing. And then one of our senators, Tina Smith, announced she's retiring. And like clockwork, a couple days later, our Lieutenant Governor, Peggy Flanagan, threw her name into the race and said, I'm running. And I'm just like, this is somebody who's been in politics for the past 20 years, and we don't need another politician to fill this seat. We need someone who's going to act. So I'm just like, my gut just like pushed me to it. I'm running, and let's go from there. And then that was a year ago, this past February. And here we are. And as expected, Peggy Flanagan's been running a very quote-unquote anti-corporate campaign, meaning she's taken millions of dollars from various PACs, but it's anti-corporate. And then another one of our representatives here in the state, Congresswoman Angie Craig, is running, and she's more of the corporate shill. She accepts a shit ton of APAC money, a shit ton of PAC money from the healthcare industry, the health insurance industry, I should say. From Walmart's PAC, big groceries. She just accepts a shit ton of money. For what, I have no idea, because it only costs $400 to run for the U.S. Senate in Minnesota to get on the ballot. That's all you need. So it's just beyond me why these people are accepting so much money, millions of dollars for a campaign. So here we are. I've got my primary on August 11th, 2026. This August 11th. It's myself and Peggy Flanagan and Angie Craig, and we'll see what happens, man. I'm ready to get some shit done, and I've got zero favors to owe. I have not accepted any money from anybody. I'm running this on $0, so I've got no like baggage there, and I have no endorsements from any current elected representatives, so I've got no favors I'm gonna owe. You know, I'm not gonna have to walk on eggshells, and I'm like ready to rip shit up. January 2027, I've got plans to pass anti-price gouging legislation, like targeting Walmart directly, who has announced they've just become $1 trillion company.
Wow.
And they continue raising our prices due to quote unquote the Trump tariffs, which
Mhm.
have been declared unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. So um, I'm going to
Yeah,
abolish
aren't companies like getting refunded
They
for the
are
tariff
by the tune of
despite us
like
all paying more
like
for groceries and bullshit?
exactly $16 million Walmart's getting back, and they're not gonna like we're not gonna get that money back. They're not
No,
gonna send it
they're
to
not
us.
gonna like bring prices down.
No, unless they're held to it by law, and you're
Yeah.
not gonna see this Congress, this GOP-led Congress, do anything like that. And and one of my opponents, A.G. Craig, who's accepting Walmart's PAC money for her campaign,
Mhm.
she's not going to do anything to fight that. So I'm ready to flip some fucking tables, man. I wanna do
Yeah.
some I want to do some messy stuff for the better of our working class people.
You're ready to
She ready?
metaphorically throw some staplers, not
Yes.
literally throw staplers.
My gosh, that lady. You know, I did. I just on a whim. You know, I went to the Epstein file search tool that the Department of
Uh-huh.
Justice has up on their
Of
website,
course.
and I just searched just some random names, and one of them was Amy Klobuchar, and she is in the Epstein files. She's there's a conversation between Jeffrey Epstein and Woody Allen
Uh-huh.
over email or maybe text, and Woody Allen is praising Amy Klobuchar for how she treats her staff to Jeffrey
What?
Epstein. Yes. I mean, he's obviously joking. He's like, I really can get behind something
Oh.
like, I just love how she treats her staff. And there's like a New York Times article in there, like a link.
Uh-huh.
Um, but yeah, man, she treats her staff like shit. And that's disgusting. Toxic. It's Katie Porter like.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to vote for Katie Porter for the governor?
Honestly, I don't know what to do. I don't live anywhere. I haven't committed to where I want to live. I'm being nomadic. I'm being bi-coastal in New York.
Okay.
And I've been thinking, do I change my residency and everything to California? What should I do? And yeah, it's time to decide. Time is running out.
Well, are you giving is it like
Here's the thing. I'm nervous about my taxes and my health insurance. Um, did my mic? Oh, just for a sec. Okay.
yeah, just for a smidge. But we got the gist that you
So I
decided
don't know what state I'm going to vote in. Um, I have been following California. I don't know what. Okay, so Katie Porter, who does she get money from?
uh I mean she talks a lot of smack about the crypto industry, so I don't think she's getting money from the crypto industry.
Well,
No,
that
I don't
doesn't mean
know.
anything. You can get money and still pretend.
You're right. You're right.
uh,
We can check her FEC
yeah.
listings.
And then some people like Becerra. I don't know if he takes money from people or not.
Yeah. I don't know,
Or,
man. Tom Steyer might just win you over. Depends on what they serve at this dinner.
I know, right? Uh,
I'll look up Katie Porter FEC. I just don't like how mean she is to her staff.
It's hard to even understand when I Google corporate donors. What a dumb country we live in currently. But okay, like for instance, I'm looking at Becerra's website right now, and it says contributors, but I'm looking at these and I'm like, are these like individuals who are employed by these companies, or are these the companies?
Yeah,
It says like 21st Century Fox, KPMG, Home Depot,
yeah, I think
California Correctional Peace Officers Association. That doesn't sound too good.
peace.
Oh, Becerra takes a lot of Chevron bucks. Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at Katie Porter's, and she has barely any money on the FEC financial summary for 2025-2026. So I don't think she has any. I shouldn't laugh, because she gets it then. She understands you don't need much money for this. Shouldn't cost money to represent your neighbors, you know?
Okay. Forrest, can you pull up WizWorld's link?
Whoa.
Aha. And then what about Katie Porter? Does she take corporate money?
Wait, Edward Norton gave her $50,000.
He loves her.
Of that, it's just a photo of her and Edward Norton touring some trash site, like incinerator or something.
What the hell?
Yeah, Wizworld is right. She did start falling apart. She's just very mean and toxic, and she yells at her staff, and she tried to play it off like, I'm tough. I'm going to be tough to the Trump administration.
So who in the race isn't taking corporate money? Is it just Tom Steyer, or is anyone else? And then of course there's the argument, he's a billionaire. What do you mean? He obviously has investments in tons of corporations, and has probably many long-standing relationships with freaking executives, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Do we know how he made his money? Like, how did he first?
didn't he do something with private prisons?
Ew. That's disgusting.
Yeah, it's
My-
hard. No!
I think he
And I don't-
had and then has since divested, and sort of
Yeah.
always frames it as like he had a spiritual awakening at some point when he was 30 and has like tried to change course, but I don't know. It's always hard to say how,
Yeah.
real that is.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, what a system we have where we're like, just the money. Okay, so it just became like a investor, I suppose. Yeah, where you're like, I guess we could trust the billionaire. It's
I
like
mean-
there should just be like regular people allowed to run,
Yeah, I
Or, you know.
mean,
afford to run.
it's not illegal to be a billionaire. I mean, right? But it's not. I don't it doesn't make you a bad person to be a billionaire. I mean, he's doing good things with his money. Because I remember when he was running against Trump in 2016. No, was it? No, I think he was running in the primary for what ultimately was the 2020 election, and he was just using his dough to like do this ad campaign of him just talking shit about Trump in like this very pleasant sort of dramatic setting, and he was just like, this guy's bad. I'm Tom Steyer. This guy's bad. Donald Trump sucks. And then that was it. He was. I don't even think he was running at the time. I think he was just doing like an ad campaign, just talking shit about Trump and warning people. But you are going to have the perfect opportunity to ask him questions when you go to dinner.
Yeah, I'd love to. So yeah, that's the thing. Like his attack ads are going to say that he made money in prisons, but I don't know how deeply he was doing that versus having a hedge fund that has investments in private prisons, and if that's the rubric, then like most Americans who have a Vanguard or Fidelity or 401k or a pension are also, getting rich off of private prisons or like
That's right.
oil or other horrible things.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So who knows if he can be convincing that he's the real deal?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Is there a primary date for this?
June 2nd.
June 2nd. And how long do you have a same day registration in California?
I think so. And I think
Okay.
early voting starts soon in May. Mask for Mask wanted to ask you about Medicare.
Yes.
You
Please ask me away. I don't know. I don't think Katie Porter will drop out. But that's a good theory. Katie Porter seems determined.
the way the primaries work in California, which I didn't know before moving here, is like they're open primaries, and so whoever the top two are.
Yeah,
That's kind of scary. That really ups the stakes for a lot of elections.
Yeah,
instead of a party.
Yeah, we have that in Minnesota. Our primary is August 11th, and it's myself, the other two Democrats, and like 5 Republicans. Mm-hmm. We're all going to be on the same ballot. So yeah, it's kind of wild. I think maybe let's put people's names on the ballot without like party affiliation. Let's just have people vote with do some research and really think about a candidate as opposed to just like sticking to the whole like party denomination thing. Anyway, Medicare.
I kind of like ranked choice. I feel like I don't even understand what it is. Rank choice is you vote for your person, and then like it's like the top 2 or 3. Like if your person make it to the top, then their votes go to the party, I believe.
Yeah, that's wildly. I mean, it makes sense.
It keeps you in a 2-party thing, but it's nice that there don't have to be these stupid fucking like you have to drop out for the sake of the party type of nonsense.
Yeah, the whole guilt trip. I'm sure I'm going to get that from people. I haven't gotten it yet. My opponents haven't even like uttered my name, during any kind of like attacks that they've been doing on each other or whatever. But my name, like one of my opponents has been funding polls, research polls, and they're constantly putting my name in questions and listing myself like my name as an option, my campaign. But they both have not acknowledged me because as soon as they do that, they're like basically admitting it's a 3-way race.
Right. So, yeah.
But yeah, it's you know, it shouldn't be a whole like hierarchy, guilting people into not running and or trying to like completely crush people because they're not a part of like the democratic system, which we saw happen with Graham Plattner. They tried to do
Yeah.
that with him, and they failed miserably. That was wild today that Janet Mills announced she's no longer running. Um, Anyway, what was the question on Medicare? Because I would love to talk about that.
Ah, there we go.
Okay.
I was just watching you talk about how Medicare for all is not a great goal, actually. It's base level 50 years ago. I'm on Social Security, disability, and get Medicare, which is life saving. Yet, also, I'm struggling to even make copays, and I'm not legally allowed to save money. What
Right.
are some ways you're interested in bridging the gap for people like me who have insurance but can't afford to use it? Because I know you're already working on helping to insure everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I want to. I, Medicare. I have a friend who is actually going through the Medicare spend down process, basically making their family live in poverty in order to get long term care for her father. And I just don't. It's such a shit system, and Medicare is insurance, and I I don't think I think we have to get a fresh perspective on how we could do this differently because Medicare is just that word alone scares people, and if you're like pitching Medicare for all, the people who are going through the Medicare system right now are like, no, I don't want to do that to my friends, my neighbors. I don't want to do that. So
Mhm.
they will vote against it. Really, the way that question was asked um, is evident of like how unnecessarily but purposefully complicated the system is, and
Mhm.
it shouldn't be complicated. People shouldn't have to struggle. Like they shouldn't have to live in poverty. They shouldn't have to not save money. Like let's say someone like
Yeah.
wins the lottery. They should be able
Mhm.
to win the lottery and still
Right.
collect. And still be
Yeah.
healthy. So I think the first step at tackling that is getting somebody or getting more people in Congress who make these decisions, who help write laws and represent actual working class people
Yeah.
who are not collecting money from the health insurance PACs or you know
And also just like people who like think of these things. If you're a rich person and you live in like a rich suburb, you're
yeah
not having these conversations. You don't know anyone dealing with this stuff. So it's not even occurring to you. If anything, you're like, wow, there's a bunch of mooches who don't want to work.
that's it.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, you never hear any members of Congress talking about how their family members are collecting Social
I
Security
know.
disability insurance, or going through the system themselves and experiencing. Because you hear, if anything, you hear about these people telling the stories of people who are
Yeah.
going through the system. Like, I want to tell your story. And it's just like, no, man. We need more
Yeah.
of us representing us. So I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. Who was the person who asked that question? I love that question. And was that
Mask for
Mask?
mask.
Mask for Mask. I love you, Mask. We're gonna change this shit. My boomer parents and I are in the same insurance plan, and we each have different experiences with it. Are your parents having a worse experience or a slightly better considering experience?
Means testing is so fucked. We should just give healthcare to everyone. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what also is annoying is like people who try to do good things. It's like they'll have to do like a pilot program for a year and prove that it worked. And like they're only in office for a couple years, and so then they didn't even get a chance to like enact their thing, and then the opposite party gets to run on. Oh, they ran on free this and that, and they didn't end up blah, blah, blah. And
Right.
it would be nice if you could just, like, executive order, we're doing this now.
Yeah, I mean, if there's anything that the Trump administration has proven is that they can act
You
fast.
can do
And,
whatever the hell you want.
I mean, yeah, and just they can. I mean, for the worse.
Yeah,
Yeah. So we need to just do that. We need to move quickly,
true.
as if like, it's the last day on Earth. As soon as like we get into office, and just start dismantling. Like you want some cost saving? Let's dismantle the Department of Homeland Security. There's so many agencies within the Department of Homeland Security that shouldn't even exist. And let's get rid of ICE, like billions and
Yeah.
billions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
It's costing money. It's ripping,
Yeah.
it's killing people, and it's going into communities and economically, siphoning, that community's existence. So let's start cost saving there. We got some stuff we can do.
So crazy. I feel like so many things get like politicized easily that like we're like this sucks, but I'm automatically picturing the Republicans are going to say you just want open borders and blah blah blah. Like ICE is crazy no matter what your political background because now there's all these fucking people that aren't going to school and aren't going to work because they're afraid of getting snatched up. And guess who a lot of our workers are? Fucking immigrants. So
Yeah.
all these fucking like restaurants and all kinds of businesses are like, our staff isn't coming in now because they're fucking afraid. Like, it shows that like you don't have to be like a liberal or whatever. Like, I don't think these business owners are bleeding heart liberals, but they're getting affected by their fucking workers getting snatched up. It's so stupid.
And their customers.
Everyone who watches this show already gets it. But yeah, we all know that like ICE was made after 9/11. It's a new thing. It's
Right.
not like, what? Abolish ICE. Just fucking cut the funding.
Radio Free Multiverse is right. Yeah, Shrek is older than ICE. And, Shrek goes away here and there. Shrek's gone. Why not ICE?
And like, okay, so ICE is supposed to be, getting criminal immigrants. We're only getting immigrants that are doing illegal stuff. That's what the police does.
Yes.
That's what the police does. Why do we need ICE?
Right. And
We're going after criminals. That's literally what the police does. Why do we need a whole nother? It's so fucking stupid.
And they stripped funding for local police from the federal level before they threw the Gestapo onto our streets. So it's wild. Sorry, buddy. No. I mean, Shrek's coming back, but what I meant to say was Shrek goes away for a little while and then comes back. Shrek's able to understand the vibe. He's like, I'm just gonna sit this one out. I'll make a movie in another 5 years.
Oh, and
Shrek's
also, speaking of Mask for Mask, we got some viewer art from Mask
Oh.
for Mask.
Avoid the Noid.
My God.
Avoid the Noid.
That
Beautiful.
is legendary. That
Watch that all
is
day long. Put that on loop.
that needs to be adopted by Domino's for their next ad campaign.
My dad has been doing okay so far. My mom needed to switch to catastrophic Medicare to afford in-home dialysis. My dad is starting facility dialysis next year, so I assume he'll need it too. I buy a lot of her dialysis supplies from the same place I buy my HRT equipment, which is also a veterinarian whole site. That's Medicare.
Yeah, that's Medicare. And by design, I'm so sorry. God, that sucks. But they make
Thank goodness
this.
for wholesale veterinary supply websites, the glue holding our healthcare together.
Yeah, I got to get the name of that website address. I might need to borrow that for some stuff. I got to refer that to some friends. I'm sorry. You know what? Like it's not impossible to. Here's the idea. I think I talked to you about this, Mary, when we talked like a few months ago. The way I want to pitch it to people is imagine the dollars that come out of our paycheck each week, instead of going to some corporation that profits off of us, and we pay for the possibility to cover our health care when we need it. How about we put that money into the healthcare system, and we're guaranteed healthcare whenever we need it. It's the same amount of money. Sometimes, I mean, a lot of times we could actually shrink that money down and cut it in half and put it directly into a system that will allow us the ability to call an ambulance without feeling like we're going to go into debt. Or, you
Yeah.
know, it's always there when we need it. We could, you know, get suffer a dog bite and go to the emergency room and not be paying for it 10 years down the line in installments. So that's my pitch. Like, we can do this. There's just too many lobbyists that are in Congress, in
Exactly.
the, you know, the walls of the Capitol.
Yeah. And that's, I'm so grateful and excited that, there's really freaking movement happening now of so many people running like, I only take real donations. I don't take any corporate donations. People doing that because of some idiot private hospital
Yes.
company or pharma company wants to cheat us.
Yeah.
They're going to have to figure out more clever ways to do it.
Yeah, they're gonna have to be like APAC. They're gonna have to like find like, you know, ways to funnel money
They're going to
to
need to make
Congress.
really good commercials.
Oh my gosh, with Democrats giving testimonials about how amazing APAC has been for their campaign, like, and with
Yeah.
some electric guitar licks in the background, it'd be great.
Well, what's even so exciting is like people just have more awareness now. Like you were mentioning, like, well, APAC will not just donate to candidates, they'll think of more creative ways. Like, we all see them like paying creators to say certain things, and, you know, it's done through many layers. It's like APAC is contracting, like, what would you call, like a PR company that's
Yeah,
contracting a social media outreach company, and then they hire these influencers. So some of these people, they're honestly like stupid. They're not like clever enough to even realize like that they're paid by the Israel lobby, even though like all of the suggested things are like, can you be Islamophobic? Can you criticize Mark Lamont Hill and Hassan Piker and Norm
right.
Finkelstein? Like,
Yeah,
what do these people have in common? Like,
I
some of these people I think are just cynical and want money, but some of them I think are so stupid that they don't even realize who is obviously funding them.
Yeah, I mean, and I know that there's like a whole infrastructure in place where it's like a UI, like a portal system where they log in, these people, if they're hired, they log into this portal system and they're given, you know, talking points of the day, and they're given like social media posts that they have to comment on. You know, it's like
Yeah.
direct links, and if they do accomplish a certain amount of comments or make a certain amount of, you know, statements publicly, they get a certain point system. Like they generate. It's a whole thing. I've seen it. I've seen what the UI looks like, and it reminds me a lot. There was actually one I remember during the Harris Walz campaign. There was a need for volunteers to help with the campaign. I remember I sat on a call, and the call was going through a portal system like I just described that APAC uses, but the Democratic Party was doing, and it was like,
Yeah.
if you know, post these images on your social media, these this poster art, or maybe like if you use this hashtag a few times, you'll get points, and eventually if you get 100 points, you can get a free piece of merch of your choosing from the Harris
Like
Walls
the
campaign.
Marlboro Miles or whatever they're called.
Exactly. It's Marlboro Miles. They'll get a kayak one day after
Yeah,
getting black lung.
people do need to leak this stuff. I mean, people did leak it to what's her name, Taylor Lorenz.
Yeah.
And I saw someone on Threads posted. They didn't provide proof, so who knows? But this person was saying, like, I'm just gonna say it. Like, I worked for one of these places, and they told us to criticize Taylor Lorenz. So anyone saying she's crazy, she's blah blah, they're lying. They
Yeah.
know it's true. They're told to criticize her.
Yeah. That's was that Ashley St. Clair that was
Hmm.
doing the revelation videos of. I think this was after the accusations of Eric Swalwell came to light. That fucking dirtbag.
Mhm.
Scumbag! I always do it with that guy. You could just tell.
There's also, I mean, this is all conjecture, this is all rumors.
Rumor mill.
Since moving here to Los Angeles, all of the organizer type people, mutual aid type people, they all love Ray Wong. And that's the progressive candidate that they like.
Okay.
There's this influencer, conjecture, I don't know, this is what I heard. There's this influencer who moved here in the past year, and allegedly, this influencer was given like instructions, like make a video criticizing Ray. Or if you could include some criticism of Ray in some of your work, can you do it? And yeah, like describe, like she's pie in the sky. She's not realistic. This other person's realistic. Um, and a lot of these people are really mad at this influencer. But
Really?
I don't know. I think people are afraid. People are all gossiping about it and texting each other and talking to each other about it, but people haven't really put it on social because they're like, well, I don't know. I guess they're afraid of libel or defamation or they get something wrong. But if that's true, that's totally psychotic that someone can just like move to a city in the midst of a mayoral election. And this influencer has like a shitload of followers.
Is it Spencer Pratt?
No, no,
Heidi Montag? Is that
no,
this
it's
way?
not.
We got to talk
No.
offline.
Yes, yeah, oh, for sure. Yes, I'll tell you.
I mean, no offense to everyone watching, because everyone should know about. There should be no secrets really, but Mary's right. People can sue us. I can tell you some stuff too about some people. I would love
Sure,
to.
I'd love to hear.
We should gossip. Painting party after dark.
Yeah.
The Hill Spencer Pratt mask for mask. That's who's running for. Spencer Pratt is running for the mayoral race in Los Angeles.
Yeah. Did you hear Mask? Spencer is running, and he's a Republican, and he's like. So Karen Bass is the current mayor, and she's a Democrat, and a lot of leftists don't like her. I mean, obviously, they all like this progressive person that's running instead. No, it's for real. So yeah, he's running on like this Democrat mayor. She made the fires happen.
Oh, yeah.
Basically.
I live in a
That's
trailer because of her.
insane. And of course, there's so many homeless people in Los Angeles. So these
Yeah.
Democrats, there's so many homeless around. Democrats.
Can I? I'm not. The timing is awful because, Mike. Can I? I got to step away for 1 second. My little guy is upstairs. crying, but I'll be right back. Give me 30 seconds, and it's nothing to do with Spencer
Take
Pratt.
your time.
I'm not gonna go call Spencer Pratt and tell him what you said.
I'm serious. Take your time.
I'll be right back. So yeah, I'm not painting the Noid. I'm painting pizza. I was googling cheesy pizza, greasy pizza, trying to get some good pizza pics. And then I was thinking of some pizza places that I like in New York, some square style places. A couple places I like. One of them is called Aces. Another one is called Emmy Squared. I don't know if they still exist. Well, Emmy Square is franchised. It's all over the place now, but I think the one in Brooklyn might have closed. The last time I was there, they were doing poorly. The owners got a divorce. So, so yeah, this is a square pizza. Woo.
Square
Square
pie is really booming.
It's yummy.
Yeah, I like it. We have square pie guys here.
Oh, the edges are so crispity crunchy.
So crispy.
Yum yum yum.
Yum, yum,
There's
yum.
a place near me called Hot Tongue they do both
Oh,
crispity crunchy square and normal triangle.
nice. Okay.
I might get it for dinner.
Yeah.
Once I started painting this, I was like, oh, that would be good,
Oh, these look good.
right? I've been getting too many texts from them. I ordered from them online once, and I'm always getting texts. I'm trying to make a vid about the incumbent Providence mayor being a dipshit, in my opinion. Legal disclaimer, it is my opinion. Mask, have you watched Real Housewives of Rhode Island? I haven't watched it, but I asked someone about it.
Sorry, guys.
No
Sorry.
problem.
Our 4-year-old I think he had a little nightmare.
Oh,
He felt the presence of Spencer Pratt conversation. He was like, no.
well, let's get dog on cam. Dog,
Whoa.
hello.
Oh, look at that baby.
Beauty, I love you.
Oh,
Pop-up
happy.
video. So cute.
We need to bring back pop-up video.
Ooh, I like that. I've heard
do
of
it.
pie squared. Square pie?
I'm going to draw my Bart Simpson as the Noid. So does anybody in the chat, anybody who's joining us right now, does anyone live in Minnesota or know anybody in Minnesota? By chance?
So what's your take?
I would love to talk to somebody in Minnesota sometime. Anytime. I never leave my house, not even while we're What's my hot take?
Yeah, what's your take?
Let me try to think. I think the government should provide free Narcan to everybody on demand, unlimited, and delivered free by the USPS.
100% agree.
Thanks, man. Thank you, Brian. Is it Brian, right? Jonathan?
What? It's Kareem.
I'm sorry. Oh, man. That's
Wait,
something.
actually, okay. 100% disagree. What? Convince me. Convince me.
Well, I think, people who are going through addiction deserve to live. If they make one mistake and overdose, it's not it shouldn't be a death sentence. so they should have the opportunity to survive. So Narcan should be available. And also, people ingest Narcan unintentionally. I've heard stories about toddlers going to
Wow.
an Airbnb with their family and finding like a tablet on the floor and eating it, and it turns out that tablet was was fentanyl, and they
Whoa.
overdose.
Holy shit.
So Jonathan Bryan, I think Narcan should be free. My gosh, that was real footage. That wasn't AI. Mary, are you controlling the graphics, or is that Forrest? Because
Me and Forrest. Forrest put on hot take.
you guys are fantastic at this. I love it. I drew Bart Simpson, and I need your opinion.
Oh, show us.
Okay.
Don't have a cowman.
Like caramba.
Oh.
And I quote, "Whoa."
That's funny. That could be Bart or Milhouse or Frank. Wow. Ooh.
Frank from the special? What birthday?
Frank.
What birthday?
Frank.
Oh.
Professor Frank.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you. Was that Forrest that complimented my Bart? Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so sweet. I'll send it to you. Now I'm gonna draw my sloth. Sloth? Is it Sloth from Goonies?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever said something and you're like, that just doesn't sound right?
Yep. I know that sensation.
I just had it.
Damn.
All right, I'm gonna draw my sloth.
Do you have square pizza where you live? Do you have any good square spots, like
We-
any square?
Well, more rectangle.
Okay.
We have a place called Rectangle Pizza.
Ooh.
It's very fantastic. It's like you order a pizza and they give you what looks like a lasagna. It's just like this square beauty. They were
That's
actually
nice.
one of. It's good. They were one of the places that ICE tried to target when they were doing their shitty raids,
Wow.
and they just like they didn't put up with it. They had their doors locked. A bunch of people outside of Rectangle were like shooing ICE away, and
Mhm.
it was fabulous. And they ended up like raising hundreds of thousands of dollars in mutual aid, and saved a
That's
lot of people's lives. Rectangle Pizza. Buy some merch from them. Do you have square pizza where you are? Mary?
There's a place called Hot Tongue. That's okay. It's better than okay, but I don't love it.
Is that where you're gonna order from tonight?
I think I will. I think I will.
Treat yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's Thursday night. You deserve it.
Oh my god, my dog is so cute. I have to reveal him again.
Oh,
Where? Ouch.
you okay?
I just rolled over my toe
Oh
with my
no.
wheels.
Oh, happy.
Okay, I gotta move this.
Hey, buddy. Look.
Oh,
Hi. How old is that young buck?
this many.
10. Oh, you're still a baby, dude.
Leo. He's just a little baby. He got his teeth cleaned.
Oh, that's kind of that's very that can be stressful for a young man.
I made a list of New Year's resolutions, and I've accomplished getting my dog's teeth cleaned and moving into a bigger apartment.
Those are big. That's like 500 New Year's resolutions into one. I mean, there's so many steps for all those.
Mm-hmm. I'm only just 5 months in.
Just
4 months. No, it's 4 months. 4 months have elapsed.
Hmm.
4 months in, I got 2 big goals accomplished. Pretty
That's
cool.
enough. For, honestly, like moving, that's like 5 years worth of goals for like some people,
Yeah,
for myself
it was
included.
a
So
whole to do.
that's a big one. What did Happy move from New York to LA with you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, buddy.
Hi. Look
Was
how
it a
damn cute he is.
so cute? Look at him.
Hi.
Let me be honest, don't allow Smith to watch Happy if you ever go out of town and need
Okay.
a dog sitter.
Mm,
I think I messed up my sloth. Definitely messed
mm.
up my sloth. It's been a while.
Gotta see the sloth.
Okay. Okay, you ready? Sloth and Bart. Listen, did I mess it up? It's been a while.
I think it looks good.
Okay. You're just being nice.
I am being a little bit nice. I think if I saw that sight unseen, I'd be like, huh? And then if you were like, oh, it's sloth, then I'd be like, oh yeah.
That was like actually kind of sounded like Corey Feldman when you said that just now. So
Ah!
it's apt. So being out in Los Angeles,
Dude.
have you bumped into Corey Feldman?
Not yet. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Any celeb sightings since being there besides Matt from A Special
No,
Thing
not
Records?
really. Isn't that crazy?
It is.
I haven't seen like any celebs.
My gosh. Who is one celeb that you do want to bump into living in Los Angeles?
Oh, wait. In 2026, I want to open feature for more comedians. I haven't really accomplished that yet. I need to put more effort into that. I want to perform at the LA Comedy Club. I haven't really done that. Well, I went to some open mic. I performed at places that aren't clubs,
Mm-hmm.
that aren't the big clubs. My goal is to perform at the big clubs. Perform on the road. I haven't done that this year. Wait, I have done that this year.
I was gonna
You
say, yeah.
have. Yeah.
I went to North Carolina. Get a professional dental cleaning for my dog. Did that. Do more interviews with lefty people where they say smart stuff and I say, dude, that's awesome. Like Rogan and Theo Von do to their guests. Honey, I'm doing it right now.
Mm.
Interview people who are quote unquote problematic, but we agree on important things like anti war stuff. So their fans see that lefty people with trans friends are cool and not annoying. Yes, I interviewed Mike Racine, and I believe the episode is coming out this Monday. He is anti-war and so funny, and um, I think when I was younger, and I was I was hanging out with some numbskulls. I hung out with some numbskulls that were like, Mike Racine, his jokes are offensive, and now I go, you know what? Mike Racine is on the right side of things, even though he's a little fresh with his jokes. And some people are never fresh with their jokes, but aren't on the right side of things. So
Yeah.
I want to like show that. I want to show that to people. Um,
You know, we
that
can't agree 100% with 100% of the people 100%
exactly.
of the time. Or whatever Bob Dylan said, you know?
Mhm. And get a bigger apartment done. I'm
Congratulations.
making pretty good on this. I'm gonna take a screenshot.
I think the number one open or feature for more comedians, you're a headliner. I don't understand what you're talking about open. Why is that a goal? sister?
Well, here's the thing. So if I want to go on the road, I could like reach out to small venues and um and maybe get like a crowd with some local, and not even at comedy clubs. I would have to reach out to like alt spaces, like a bar with like a stage where bands play. I would like to perform at comedy clubs. I want to be able to do both kinds of places. Um, to open for people would mean that I would get to perform for bigger crowds at like a
Okay.
place like Mary Houlihan could not fill. No.
Yeah. You should come to Minnesota um, in June
Oh, I would love
because
to.
David Cross is doing a few nights here, and I'm sure we could talk him into
Let's.
getting you to
This is
open for him.
perfect. Thank goodness I brought this up.
Yes. I'll ask him if he has an opener. I mean, you probably would just have to fly yourself here,
Yeah.
and
Well,
you
I
could stay
totally
here.
want to.
We
Is
got
that
a house.
possible?
Yeah. So you need to open and feature for more comedians and tour. So it's like a twofer.
Yeah. This is perfect.
David Cross is absolutely lovely. He's a very wonderful man. He did one of these, not Chappelle. He did one of these, the conversation things that I did on my little campaign YouTube channel that you joined me for, Mary. Thank you so much. He joined me for one of those, and I have a little conversation show I do out here in Minnesota, Minneapolis, at a punk rock coffee house. It's called Conversation, and it's just like unrecorded, live, shooting the shit in front of like a coffee house crowd. Kind of impromptu. He's going to do that with me in June when he's here. Michael Shannon's done it with me a few times. Jeanine Garofalo just joined me a couple weeks ago. But you can come and come to Minneapolis and do a conversation with me in person at a coffee shop.
Let's
Mary,
see.
fly out.
Okay.
Bring,
There is. Okay, hold on. Club Random.
yeah. Did you watch
Bill
that?
Maher called out Looney left. Okay, where is. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I made it. Okay. Okay. Share screen, present. David Cross on Club Random.
I love it.
It's an ad. Okay.
By the way, Bill Maher and Greg Bovino share something in common. They're both shitheads and
There we
disgusting
go.
people.
Okay, so there's the boys on Club Random. I left a comment on this video actually earlier today, and
You read
so
some comments.
I just quickly checked to see if I had got any likes or dislikes or replies, but no one has engaged with it yet.
Whoa, this is what you said. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Did you see this? I'll summarize it for anyone who hasn't seen it.
I watched the whole 2+ hours. Yeah.
Oh my god! I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah.
So yeah, Bill Maher is talking to David Cross about the Looney left and their trans agenda.
Meanwhile, Bill Maher is the person who brought it up. Like he's
Yes,
the one who's so
and-
fucking fixated on people living
and
their
David
lives.
Cross is so like patient and warm and kind and just like answers his questions, and Bill Maher keeps trying to be like and David Cross is just like, it's not a big deal, you're like being weird.
Obviously, you can tell that not shaming anybody who doesn't have kids, but Cross is talking about like his own child and her friends who are part of the trans community, and Bill Maher has 0 children. So he's like, yeah. So you could tell who doesn't have a kid in this conversation.
And I saw, well, first I watched the Majority Report, like a clip of them just laughing about the clip, and they kept saying that, like Emma kept calling Bill Maher like this like childless weirdo.
She's right. She's fucking right.
This like weirdo has no kids. He's like
When
obsessed with.
when Bill Maher and like the people like him start talking about like genitalia, I'm just like, what the
Yes.
fuck? How fucking gross of a person do you have to be to talk about a kid like that with your politics? Anyway, Bill Maher, you have a little weed head.
David Cross does a pretty good job. This is Mary's comment. David Cross does a pretty good job explaining the facts and dispelling myths. This is a classic Mary trying to be patient and break through to conservatives who might be listening. Facts and dispelling myths. If you listen to him, the only thing they're quote unquote doing to kids is letting them dress how they want. Sometimes they let the kids choose a new name. If you're really being honest, not coming from a place of fear/panic, you should be able to acknowledge that picking clothes and picking a name is nothing new. Kids have always been doing that. A lot of people have bought into this panic that people are turning kids trans. It's just not based in reality, and you have to use critical thinking and consider what political think tanks and moneyed lobbies want you to be mad at home all day about little girls wearing sports jerseys instead of dresses.
Right.
They want you to be mad about culture war things that don't affect you. That way, you won't pay attention to AI, crypto, war in Iran, taking away your social security and forcing you into medical debt. Those are the things that people who actually run the country, people who are trying to make money off of you, want. They are delighted that you are arguing with your nieces and nephews about trans kids and vaccines because you are not realizing you're getting robbed blind.
Right.
That's why Bill Maher has his show renewed every year. You see, I'm working on this art form of I try to talk to them in a way that I think they'll hear and not be like, Duncan, you're so stupid, because then they won't hear it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like
Right, yeah, they
you
close
have to
off.
try to be like, I'm like you, I get you.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It takes patience, and there was somebody who I forget who said this, but they were talking about debating, and they said that they approach debating not like it's a battle, but it's more like you're just trying to talk the person into understanding your side of
Yeah.
the situation and trying to talk them into it and agreeing with you and then finding a middle ground. And that's
Hmm.
not coming at it with like a knife and saying this is how it
Yeah.
is. Because a lot
And
of
it's
people,
also trying to like address that, because there are a few comments that are like, I imagine making these decisions for yourself when you're 8 years old. And it's like, these people need to like calmly be explained to that it's just clothes. It's just clothes, sometimes a name. Even some families are like, a name is a bit much. Let's wait till you're older to play with the name. Like, you have a problem with kids getting forced to have surgeries. That's what you're picturing, but that's
yeah,
not what's happening. And
right,
so you have to like understand you're being so brainwashed and manipulated by something that's not happening.
right.
And like, we gotta like reel you back into reality.
Yeah, and to put it into a perspective that generally the people who feel this way understand, it's, do you agree with parents' rights and parents having a say in their child's health care? Because there was a
Yeah.
big, strong support for parents not giving their child the COVID vaccine. And
Hmm.
that's this sort of the same crowd that also believes that parents can't.
It's 100% the same crowd.
Yeah. So it's like,
Um,
should the government be in your child's doctor's office or should they not?
Right, yeah. And it's like a lot of us are totally freaked by people not vaccinating their kids, but you don't really see like a movement of people forcing kids to get vaccinations for better or worse. You know, it's
Right.
probably not a great thing, but it's America and people in America value freedom and personal choices. And like so many people choose to homeschool their kids and aren't like remotely qualified to do that.
Right.
There's no like movement from Democrats saying you can't homeschool your kids. So if we let you teach your kids the Bible instead of sending them to school to learn to read and do basic math, I don't think you can like have an opinion. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like parents' rights or not, or
Yes,
like,
exactly.
small government or not. Um,
Yeah,
do you want the government telling you what book you can read today?
yeah,
It's people need to. They're so quick to remove themselves from their own preferences if
mhm.
somebody says that are getting hurt. You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah,
And that's it. Kids are just being used as like a tool to stir up
yeah.
emotions and garner votes. Those bastard billionaires like Tom Steyer.
We'll
I mean,
see.
depends on what he serves at the dinner. You know. I
I
think it
give
was
it.
like. Oh, wait, what'd you say? What'd you say? I cut you off.
I heard there's going to be Margs.
Listen, um, I think it was Taylor Lorenz,
Hmm.
uh, who was she was interviewing that Libs of TikTok girl. I forget her name, but they were talking about like her trans fixation, and Taylor Lorenz simply just asked her about the trans community existing. She said, "Well, what's the harm? Like how does it harm you that these people
Hmm.
live their lives?" And it was just like the answer was, "Oh, it's basing a life on a lie." And then Taylor Lorenz just simply kept asking the same question, like, "What is it harming you? How does it harm you?"
Hmm.
And there was no answer. They don't
Yeah,
understand like how it actually harms them, and maybe they do, and they're just in denial that it doesn't harm them that a
yeah,
person lives their life how they want to live or how they are or who they are. Um, anyway, watching somebody have an epiphany right before your very eyes is wild, especially when
yeah.
somebody as hateful as lives of TikTok, disgusting
Hmm.
person.
My boomer lib lefty mom went from not allowing me to live at home unless I did conversion therapy decades ago to now where she's trying to practice saying they them. Huge leaps. I keep telling her not to tell herself she can't learn new tricks. Um, yeah, totally. I think, yeah, I mean, you guys know I'm talking about this crap all the time of like, we can't dunk on people. We need to like bring them in and explain things to them and not just be like, oh, you're so, how do you not? Because
Yeah,
you're not going to bring them in by doing that. If anything, they're going to think we're crazy and blah, 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 blah.
you got to give them some
And
runway. Runway.
understand that people are from different generations and different cultures, and things need to be explained to them in language that they understand.
Yeah, they'll come around. A lot of
Hmm.
these people are just scared. They're they're targeted by a marketing campaign to scare them,
Yeah. People are
and
telling them that like kids are getting mutilated.
yeah,
They're freaked.
they're freaked. Yeah. Meanwhile, people are siphoning their weekly paychecks from them to put it towards a fucking fighter jet that's going to crash because some nincompoop is like running the Department of War. Anyway, I digress. What did that person say? That was a good one.
The amount of confirmed minors going through surgical transition in this country can be counted on your fingers.
Right.
Same with girls and girls sports. Yes, exactly.
Right.
I don't
And
know if you
even
guys saw, what's her name, ContraPoints on the Doom Scroll podcast. I thought that was interesting. A lot of people are like done with her because they don't like her takes anymore. I also saw a really funny review this one guy made of the podcast, and he was just like, "These guys are so pretentious, and I hate listening to people use critical theory language in general." And I was like,
yeah.
"Same," but there were parts of it that I thought were good. That yeah, she's had like stuff about like we have to like be real, like trans messaging is bad currently. We need to improve the messaging. We need to dispel myths. We can't just dig our heels in and say, you guys are so stupid. How do you guys not get it? They don't get it, and they're not going to get it unless we explain it to them. And
Yeah.
she brought up like the politics thing. Like, if anyone's in a political debate and the Republican brings up trans sports, immediately you should be like, you are a pervert.
Yeah.
Why do you care about genitalia? That
Right.
affects 4 people in the entire country. I want to talk about this and that and that. I want to talk about health insurance. I want to talk about cost of living. My opponent wants to talk about little girls' genitalia. My opponent wants to check kids' genitalia. I want to talk about insurance. Like, that's obviously what you should be doing if you're trying to win an
Yeah.
election.
Yeah. It's and
I think
and we
she's
need
American. Does she live in England?
the
I don't have
doom
it.
scroll person.
ContraPoints.
ContraPoints. Okay.
Doom Scroll is like an art critic guy. And I like a lot of his guests, and I think he asks good questions. Um, but I thought that was really funny to see someone acknowledge like critical theory is really annoying because him and her did get into that. Their conversation was 3 hours long, and
Mhm.
so at one point they were talking about like, who are your favorite critical theorists? I obviously went through like a Foucault phase, and like I hate that stuff because I went to art school.
Y-
I
You
went to
know,
art school, and you have to like learn that language and do reading and writing about it. But some people like it, which I think is insane. It's yeah. Some people will like it and say, "No, you're not getting it," but it really seems like it only exists to like perform that you have studied it. Like it's
right.
a language of exclusivity that doesn't really talk about things in a new way that speaking in common vernacular doesn't already accomplish. But anyways,
It's like overindulgent. It's like
yes, yeah.
making it a chore to enjoy something.
Yes, and also I feel like being able to speak to common vernacular is a skill.
Hmm.
It's not like you not being able to talk to a general audience shows that you're lacking a skill. It doesn't mean that you're so much more educated. It means that you're lacking a kind of education.
Right. That's why AI is so popular. People are trying to make things more concise. Using AI to create bullet points. They're
Or
trying
yeah,
to minimize the communication. They're like, let's get the point across. You know what
I
I
mean
need
it's
to.
the whole it's the book smart versus street smarts debate.
Yeah.
Um, and the most effective, successful people can do a little bit of both.
There is I want to stop. First of all, I want to say I never again want to hear the term or label thought leader. Can we stop saying thought leader? It needs to end across the board. Um, there's a you probably heard
We've
of
known a couple people to use it ironically. I remember, I think at Fart had, had thought leader in his bio, and Tony Zaret, I believe, used thought leader in his bio a bit. But of course, they're doing it ironically because they've seen a bunch of morons use it.
Yeah, yeah. If I add it to my bio, I'm gonna misspell the word thought. I'm gonna be like
Yeah.
thought with a U and the O is reversed.
Thought leader.
Yeah, yeah. There was
New rule.
new rule. Is that Bill Maher?
Yeah.
Nice. Do you know Pablo Torre, the
Yes.
podcast host?
Oh, he's like unironically a good thought leader.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say
Good guess.
he had a really good.
It, you know.
Yeah, he had a really good perspective after Trump won. It was like a couple days after the election, and I think he was on like Morning Joe on MSNBC. You want to vomit in the morning, just turn that on immediately. Ugh. But he was on and he was talking about everyone was sharing their thoughts like, oh, why did Trump win? Oh, this identity thing, the trans community. And he said, listen, the working class, they see a difference between authenticity and honesty. Trump is authentic. Like, he is a shithead, he is an asshole, and a constant liar, but that's who he is. They can see that that's him.
Yeah.
The Harris campaign, they were being completely honest with what they were telling people, but it seemed like it was manufactured through like layers and layers and layers of consultants and focus groups, so it was fake.
Mm-hmm.
And the working class was like, I don't want to vote for somebody that's paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for consultants to talk to me.
Yeah, they seem not trustworthy.
Right. And instead, I'm just going to vote for the guy I know that is real, even though
Telling
he's
it great.
a fascist, So they chose that, just going with what they know. So I think that's a big that needs to be acknowledged more. It's going to be hard with all these campaigns relying on consultants and polls and shit like that leading into 2026 and 2028. But I think the conversation needs to happen more where we don't need to have these giant businesses for campaigns that are actually run like businesses where you're all hiring all these staffers to do all this shit. Like, we need to like strip it down to like the stump speech again, which was an actual tree stump back in the 1800s when they were actually doing speeches on tree stumps. Like, bring it back to like the bare minimum and strip it down to its like bones, and that's the only way the working class is going to really get back on the side of the Democrats, I think. And of course, we need to start calling ourselves THOT leaders.
Yes.
So that's my spiel.
Yeah,
I think
feel like Iran is such a clear example of just like say what you mean, say how you're gonna help people. If they try to get you into like a weird gotcha that doesn't like make sense, just be like, no, I actually want to talk about this instead.
Yeah, let's talk about making your paycheck better and less whittled down by the time it makes it to you.
Yeah, I mean, like you probably saw this. I think all of you saw this. The debate when they said, when you become mayor, what's the first country you're going to visit? Israel. When you become mayor, what's the first country you're going to visit? Israel. When you become mayor, what's the first? Israel. And, like, all these. And Zoran said, like, I'm going to stay in New York and, get to work. And people were like, You
Yeah.
can say that.
Yeah, and then like once that dam broke, right?
And how like egregious that all of these people were paying consultants who told them to say that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Consultants who give bad advice shouldn't get hired over and over.
Who've lost elections, like Neera Tanden, or whatever her name is, who's lost multiple elections, yet she's still telling people to avoid Hassan, like, like the plague. Um,
Yeah, when
gross,
you
gross,
become
nasty.
senator, Billy, what's the first country you're going to visit on behalf of Minnesota?
California. I'm gonna see
Woo!
Mary. Mask for mask.
Yeah.
Where do you live? Do you live in California? Mask for mask.
No, they live in Rhode Island.
Oh, great place. The first country I want to visit, honestly, because I just want I want to go back there, and I want an excuse, so I'll use this as my answer. I want to go back to Iceland. Reykjavik, Iceland is so, it's like
Even though
God's
you had that
country.
trauma with Smith and your cat.
Yes, and funny enough, we were actually in Iceland during election day in 2016. Like we came back to New York,
Mm,
and it was a whole new world,
that's
man.
that's nice to not be in America day of.
And be treated so well because people were like sympathetic to us. And like everywhere we turned, they found out that we were American. They're like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry."
Aw, yeah.
When I become mayor, I'm gonna fly. What did that say? I'm gonna fly halfway around the world to visit with non-constituents, for reasons. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, like what do they call them? Tom Sharpling always uses this term. What is it? Like, oh, he says like lunch pail Joe. I'm
Yes.
thinking of the term ham and egger. Yeah, like ham and eggers who live in outer Queens by the beach give a shit about you going to Israel. Like, what
Right.
are we even talking about?
Right. Right. Yeah, and I love that. Once Zoran started resonating with people, um, the amount of like just like watching it, it felt like the democratic like establishment were just like smoke was coming out of their ears, like this is like our earth is shaking, like we've never seen this before, like we
But
can't.
he's Muslim.
Yeah, and they
Oh,
tried
say that out
ev-
loud.
they tried everything, just like they do with Grand Platinum. They're trying like all the traditional shit that has worked in the past, and it's not penetrating. It's like it's a different world. Just stop.
Mhm.
Just stop this shit. It's like we're done with like the era where Democrats and Republicans are both like funded by billionaire corporations and say the same thing just with different letter next to their names. We're done with that shit. We're done. Let's like get more of us into the seats to
Yeah, of
represent
course.
us. You should
I
run,
think
Mary.
it's happened. Honestly, I've considered it because there's so many horrible people in New Jersey where I'm from. Um, I mean, I said kind of up top when you were talking about like in 2024 just being like so pissed about the election and like, yeah, this was a car crash and so in slow motion, we all knew this was going to happen. Why didn't you guys avoid it? Um, yeah, in 2024, I was pretty sure, like, I feel like I didn't even think I like consciously thought Trump was gonna win, but I think like my body knew he was gonna win. Like
Yeah.
I sold my house suddenly because I just was like, I can't be around these like crazy conservative neighbors in like rural New Jersey if and when he wins.
Yeah.
And my congressman was a Democrat who's an APAC Democrat. He's gotten, I think, $1 million or close to it. I had like wrote him about Israel, and he sent me back a thing, a form letter, not like a person like saying like, I appreciate your thoughts, but we have to finish the job. Hamas is a terrorist, or like so psychotic.
Yeah.
Like this is just like a form letter that you're blindly mailing out to anyone who has like expressed disappointment in this. What if I was Muslim? What if I had family in fucking Palestine or Syria or Iraq or any of these places who, when they see Israel like amping things up, they're like, holy shit, we're next. What if I was a Muslim person who literally has siblings or children or cousins or whatever over there, and you're sending me a letter saying, not even saying sorry, saying,
No.
you feel that way? Well, we're going to keep funding them. Bye.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and like that's the type of person who would like write their name on a bomb if they had the opportunity.
Yes,
Like write
I'm
a little.
I'm I'm sure he has. He's definitely been there. I mean, I don't know that for sure, but it's like obviously he has been there.
What's the congressman's name? Is that Gottham? No,
Josh
no.
Gottheimer. He's
Okay.
the co-author. He's in the news today and yesterday because he introduced this legislation, the bipartisan legislation to condemn Hassan Piker. This was my
What?
Congress.
I love Hassan. It's just like every time something like this happens, it feels like he's like getting like he's eating that congressperson because they're making him out to be such a boogeyman, and he's like loving it. He's just like,
Yeah.
come on, I'm just gonna.
Well, honestly, he's such an inspiration because, I've like never said anything like crazy about Israel. I just like in 2018, maybe like 2021. I know Israel was like up to shit back then. I like retweeted an article, like a New York Times article saying like Israel has bombed civilians in Palestine. And after that, I felt such a difference. Had so many people unfollow me, just be like nasty to me in person, give me dirty looks. And then you're kind of like, is it because of that? I don't know. And then
Yeah.
2023 happens, and you see all of these people sign the letters and make the posts, and you're like, oh, that is why they were being mean to me. Whoa, that's nice to have it confirmed, but that's crazy. um,
Yeah.
So Hassan is very inspiring as someone who's just like, I know this is morally right, and I'm just gonna say it. Like, people are gonna say I'm whatever, and they're gonna hate me. I'm morally right. There's no reason to like try to censor myself or like make my language so perfect to appease them because they're not going to be appeased.
Yeah, you just like when that voice inside you is saying, "This is how it is." Pay attention to that voice. Like, don't second guess, your gut instinct. And when you see
Yeah.
like injustice, and clear
Hmm.
like a villain and a victim, and it's so obvious. You gotta like.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I've been doing. I mean, exactly what I've been doing with what how I'm approaching this
Hmm.
campaigning. Like I could see the eggshells that
Yeah.
the other people running are walking on, and like they'll say something after there's been a sort of a permission structure in place allowing them to say something, like to speak out
Yeah.
against APAC, to speak out against.
The Netanyahu
Yeah.
government is so bad. And then it
Yeah, you're.
becomes just get Netanyahu out of there. And,
Yeah.
or like our playbook is like, we're going to say we don't like Netanyahu, but like, we're fine with it.
Yeah, yeah, and it's all like coordinated. There was an article today. Weirdly enough, it was written by Politico. It was written by one of the
Right.
journalists of Politico. And we know,
Yes, yes.
yeah, I think you posted something about the whole meeting that they
Yeah.
had. Their CEO saying we
Yeah,
gotta.
the CEO is crazy. He made a statement that either you be pro-Israel or you quit. But like any of these companies within them, there's journalists doing good work. So,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
as you were saying, something came out of Politico.
Yeah, there was a journalist. I forget her name, but she was brought. She writes out of Tel Aviv, and she wrote a piece about how the center, I think the center left and the left in Israel, the parties are kind of blending themselves into one party to try to oust Netanyahu. But Netanyahu's direct opponent, who is considered the liberal party, is still like against the two-state solution. You know, and with Gaza, and it's just like even like the alternative is still like
Yeah.
a
Yes.
horrible. But yeah, Politico did do that report, and I do think
Yeah.
there, like you said, there's still some journalists out there that break through, despite like pressure from the top. But yeah, it's why do we care about what's going on thousands of miles away when
Yes.
we can't even like feed. People are like standing in line for like some peanut butter, you know. I don't know,
I
man.
think the narrative people should be using about Israel, like the narrative, people like in politics, they should be just saying, like, listen, like the boomer generation made some decisions that were bad. Let's correct it now. Let's get out of Israel. Let's stop funding what they're doing. Ideally, let's sanction them and divest so that they all freaking. That fucking worked in South Africa.
Yeah,
It worked.
it worked. What do we give in military aid? We give like 3.8 billion annually to Israel. And I was looking at the math. If we were to provide everyone in America with type 1 diabetes with insulin for a year, it would cost 3.6 billion. You know, like why not reallocate the money that we're giving to Israel, who is clearly fine? They don't need what we're
Yes.
sending them if they're using it
Yeah.
so like, you know, they're trying to invade other countries essentially. Why can't we just
Mhm.
provide life-saving medicine to people here in America with type 1 diabetes for the same cost, free of charge? Anyway, it's super frustrating. Super.
Yes.
It needs to stop. I'm sorry for
But
yelling.
that's why Citizens United is still a thing. So we have to all vote for people who don't take any corporate money, including you, Billy Nord. Everybody, if you have friends or family in Minnesota, you gotta tell them. You gotta tell them about Billy because Billy doesn't have the big bucks to get a zillion ads. So we gotta tell our friends and fam. Billy, do you have any final thoughts?
Um, I think that this is the time, if anyone out there is listening and interested in running for anything, now I feel like there's a definite change in the tide where now's the time for people like us to have a seat and have the ability to represent our neighbors. So look at if you're interested in running for something, anything, look into your state's Secretary of State's website and find out what is involved with running for office. It's probably a lot easier than you think and a lot less expensive than you think. You could be on the ballot this summer for the 2026 election. So if you're considering it, look at it. Just Google it. Now's the time. The wind is with us.
This because I want to be a comedian. I feel like we just had the COVID shutdown, and I'm like, things are open. I want to go out and perform. But the more I hear this, I'm like, I have to challenge Josh Gottheimer. I
You
have
have no
to challenge.
choice.
Her.
Do it for Mask for Mask. Thank you, Mask, for you're such a lovely person. You and Mary, you got a
I
challenge.
gotta go Al Franken mode. I gotta be someone who is funny, but run for office. I don't want to though.
You know, sometimes you just got to do what you don't want to do to do what you want to do, if you know what I mean. I don't know what I just said, but in order to change things and to be how you want them to be, you got to do something reluctantly. You know? Be that
Yeah.
person that opens the floodgates for others behind you.
Well, it was so crazy. I know I just was like trying to wind down, but now I'm like wound up again because, again, when I was living in Gottheimer's district, it was like kind of like suburban meets rural. Like it was like the outer edges of like the suburban rings of New York City, where it's kind of like a pain in the ass to get places, and it's like mountainy, and everyone's got sick pickup trucks. Um, there was someone and there's lots of Trump signs. There's a lot of people that are frustrated, obviously.
Yeah.
There was a house in my town that had like this. So many people just had like makeshift crazy banners, usually like pro-Trump stuff. There was one house that had a huge banner made, like it's like a half-acre property. They made a banner that was like the whole size of their yard, like huge, that said on it, this many people died from medical insurance, this medical debt this year. I don't know that person's politics. I don't know if they even choose a party. Like, I kind of, sometimes I think about that and I'm like, I kind of just want to like roll up to that house and just like ask them, like, why'd you make this bet? Like, what's your story?
Yeah.
And my ex, who grew up in that town, I feel bad telling his story, but if you're gonna be my ex, then like I'm allowed to tell your story.
It's yours now.
His dad killed himself so that he wouldn't have to treat his illness. And that's a dime a dozen. So many people have stories like that. In the district of this fucker who's sending our money to Israel and has no remorse at all.
Yeah.
And doesn't care when people write to him and tell him this is wrong. People are killing themselves and making huge fucking banners telling people, oh my God, there's a problem with health insurance. And our representative is going on trips to Israel. Like, what is happening?
Proudly, blatantly.
Yes. Does not give a shit.
You should
Anyway.
consider. You should consider running.
I know, I'm in such danger of it.
I will end on this, and this is food for thought. You're not gonna see shows like ER or The Pit that are set in like the chaos of the emergency room, set in countries like, you're not gonna see in the UK. You're not gonna see that in Japan, because it's only an American problem that we have this emergency room, that's ripe for drama that they're going to make a show about the terror of the emergency room. So it's primarily an American problem, and it can be changed. Let's fix it. Run. You should run, Mary. Everybody listening and watching, consider running. Let's change things. Like, there's still time, and we can do it, man. Dude. Yo, dude, you said something smart.
And don't avoid the Noid.
I love you. Mary, I love you. Everybody watching.
I love you. You're fantastic.
Oh,
Forrest,
you guys.
Bread.
You said go to bread.
Oh my gosh, that's Bart. Wait. Go to bread.
There
Good
we
night.
go. Go to bread, everybody. Woo!
Oh my gosh, that's gorgeous.
Thank you.
All right, well, thanks for spending Thursday night. Bye.